Swadika, good evening. We hope you have had a great weekend and now welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight with us, and you are with Nat Bunak and Hathai Teshakit Hiranan.
Swadika, very good evening as well. And kicking off the program with the latest development on the high-profile road accident earlier this year, in which an eye doctor crossing the pedestrian crossing was killed in broad daylight by a big bike. And recently, Thailand's criminal court sentenced a non-commissioned police officer to 1 year and 15 days in prison and fined him 4,000 baht today after finding him guilty of reckless driving, causing the death of the eye doctor while she was using a zebra crossing in Bangkok's Thai district in January, as well as other charges. And apart from the reckless driving causing the death of an eye doctor, the officer was also found guilty of using a vehicle which does not display a license plate, failing to drive a vehicle close to the left curb of the traffic lane, failing to stop at a zebra crossing, using a vehicle which is not insured and for which the annual road tax has not been paid, as well as exceeding the speed limit. In a high-profile case that has raised questions about Thailand's road safety and lack thereof, Dr. Waralak Supawat, also known as Dr. Kratai, an eye doctor of the Faculty of Medicine at Chulalongkorn University, was ran down by the officer on his motorcycle as she was crossing the road on a zebra crossing in front of a hospital in Thai district on January 21st. The motorcyclist was identified as Police Lance Corporal Norwip Budok, a crowd control police officer attached to the Metropolitan Police Bureau. And he has not yet been suspended or dismissed following the accident. But the latest development, Kudatai, is that the policeman was also granted unconditional bail on a surety of 200,000 baht this afternoon, and he can be released immediately. In quick response to public sentiment, the Bangkok City Hall, or the BMA, ordered improvements to the zebra crossings across the capital by repainting and expanding the crossings to become more visible to drivers. Stop signals were also installed at more than 100 crossings. Meanwhile, the victim's family has filed a lawsuit with the civil court demanding 72 million baht in compensation from the accused and the Metropolitan Police Bureau. So after the news broke out, Kudatai, there has been a big backlash online since the verdict came out, because 1 year and 15 days sentence is actually not enough for the death of an eye doctor, because many people were very upset with the whole case, because there's a lot of issues with road safety, and there are a lot of things surrounding as to why this person gets only 1 year and 15 days, which is way too short for such a big incident.
Well, certainly you're right, Nat, that there's been quite a backlash online because of the short sentence he has been given, and especially when compared to other cases that might not, be really that serious or severe. For example, one of our followers even mentioned the case where elderly couple was sentenced to 15 years just to actually pick mushroom in forest as well. So it doesn't seem to really match the gravity, of the situation. And to add probably insult to injury, basically he is also now out on bail as well.
And being out on bail is going to add a lot of anger to the people who have been following this case since earlier this year. And we were actually hoping that justice will be served for this case, but it looks like this is not really happening at all.
Right. And moving on to another big case as well in Thailand's perhaps biggest Me Too case to date, involving up to 15 women making allegations against a former deputy party leader of Democrat Party. And actually this whole scandal, where each woman comes out one by one, and they insisted that they did not really know each other before, to actually give quite similar accounts that have happened across the years in the past few years or even several years. And that actually undoubtedly affected the image of Thailand's oldest party, which is the Democrats. And recently, since late last week up until today, there have already been a few senior party members that have announced their resignation. So Thailand's oldest party has recently seen a series of resignations over the scandal in which Prin Panishapak is allegedly implicated. So the first known resignation happened on Friday when former Democrat Party Deputy Leader Wittiya Paradai resigned from the party with a parting warning that the scandal has seriously damaged the party's reputation, and the committee must do more and should be held accountable because it is they who brought Prin into the party in the first place. So then this morning, another veteran politician and former leader of the student movement during the student uprising back in the 70s, Kanok Wongtrangan, said in his Facebook post that he decided to quit the role of deputy leader out of moral conscience, effective today. Kanok said the sex abuse scandal has led to many questions being raised by the public regarding the standard of moral accountability of the party's executive committee, but the response from the party leader Durin Laksanawisit doesn't meet public expectations. And it has been revealed today that outspoken Malika Bunmitragun Mahasuk, who was a deputy party spokesperson some years back and has also resigned from the party's executive committee effective today. She did not give any reasons for her resignation, however.
Meanwhile, another key Democrat member and the deputy government spokesperson, Rachada Thanadirek, led a team of 7 female party executives in a press briefing this afternoon, confirming that they will not resign so as not to give an idea that there's discord within the Democrat Party. Rachada insisted that the group feels deeply troubled and responsible for what happened, even if it was not a direct fault of the party, and that there will be actions at the proper time about this issue. She also said that her group's action and decision has nothing to do with Malika's decision to quit. So this is definitely a big issue, and we can see that many of the party members have left Democrats, but at the same time, the group of party executives led by Rachada actually insisted that they will not leave, and they tried to confirm with the people that there's no discord within the party.
Well, discord or not, this is what we see, right? Some may say that the Democrat Party's, popularity and credibility even is dwindling down, especially as evidenced by the 2019 general elections, where without many seats being won, that actually resulted in the resignation of then party leader Apisit Wechashiwa as the party leader, just because it seems to be quite a bit set back on the party. And this definitely doesn't help.
Exactly. And now let's move on to politics, as the Bangkok governor elections are around the corner. Many of the candidates campaigned over the weekend as well. And we'll start with the Democrat Party candidate, Suchatwi Suwansawat, along with the former Bangkok governor Apirak Gosayotin and city councillor candidates campaigned at Suan Luang Rama 9 in Prawet district yesterday, meeting people who had come to exercise at the public park. So Chatwi said that his policy is to increase green spaces in Bangkok, which will be split into 3 phases. So the first would be improvements to the existing public parks. The second would be turning wasteland and other unused land into pocket parks. And the third would be a long-term project to nurture the large trees in the capital. Meanwhile, Sitha Tiwari of the Thai Sang Thai Party, along with the party leader Kun Ying Sudarat Gedurapan, campaigned at Prachaniwe 1 market at Jatuchak district. The candidate talked to vendors and discovered that their businesses have not returned to normal as they do not have enough funds, with many of them hoping that they would receive more support from the government. And on that day, Sitha vowed that he will implement credit funds to help the small vendors. Former Senator and independent candidate Rosana Tositragun campaigned at Talat Road Phai yesterday, and she emphasized her policy to stop corruption so that the budget can be used effectively for the people. Meanwhile, the former Deputy Bangkok Governor Sakunthi Patiyakun campaigned at Bangkok Noi district and markets in the Thonburi area. He said that if he's elected as the new Bangkok governor, he would create more awareness of the cultures of local communities and enhance such locations as tourism spots to attract foreign travelers.
Well, and Move Forward Party candidate, we wrote Lakhana Adisan, who actually got the #1 as in the electoral candidate number, also campaigned in the Thonburi area. At the same time, he vowed to reopen the city to improve the local economy, which has been hard hit by the pandemic. And speaking of pandemic, he also vowed to speed up the provision of 9 million vaccine booster shots while demanding transparent information about whether there is enough medication and available hospital beds to ensure the COVID cases, especially the severe ones, can receive treatment. Meanwhile, former Bangkok Governor Aswin Kwan Mueang, candidate number 6, took to the stage at Binta Siri Park, where he vowed to solve the ongoing problems for the people of Bangkok, whether it be the congested traffic, pavements, or city flooding. He also admitted there are still many issues he did not manage to fix yet during his time as the governor due to several factors, but committed to continuing where he left off if he gets elected. And last but certainly not least at all, because a leading candidate in several polls, former Transport Minister Chacha Sitipan also visited several communities in Ram Intra area and Bungkum district, where he campaigned on his policies of improving the city for all. So such policies include giving power to citizens in deciding what needs to be fixed so that the projects can be implemented. That's actually really interesting indeed, Kanat, give the power to the people, because in several cases, some other members of the public may have felt that they are not being heard, they're not being listened to, and there are actually several issues that, if all these candidates, if they didn't really go to and talk to the people, then probably they would never know.
Right, and it's only a few weeks left until the Bangkok governor election, so many of the candidates have been stepping up with their campaigns, meeting people across Bangkok.
Exactly. Really exciting times indeed, only a few weeks as you mentioned. So better take this time to, really study all the policies and pick your best candidate.
Exactly, but even if you're an expat and you cannot vote, but maybe you might have a favorite candidate that you're rooting for.
Exactly. And now moving on to the so-called soft power. This has become such a buzzword ever since Thai rapper Millie actually did something that no one really expected her to do, which is eating mango sticky rice on the world-famous Coachella Festival stage in California about 1 week ago. And that has become a buzzword because all the social media, all the people in the streets are now even eating this mango sticky rice. Now we are looking into what Thailand is actually doing with soft power, since we have all this buzzword around. So Thailand is actually ranked 35th out of 120 countries in the Global Soft Power Index 2022, which is actually a fall from 33rd last year. The ranking, which was already released back in March is determined by several factors such as familiarity, reputation, influence on other countries, as well as the country's response to the COVID pandemic. It was also evaluated by the 7 pillars of soft power, namely business and trade, governance, international relations, culture and heritage, media and communications, education and science, and people and values. And of course, probably not very surprising that the top 5 soft power countries are the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, China, and Japan, respectively. And coming back to Thailand, and according to Dr. Sharika Channantapipat, who's a research fellow at the Thailand Development Research Institute, or TDRI, Thailand's ranking will actually keep declining if no one enhances the soft power that the country already has, adding that the decline in ranking means that our attractiveness has declined too, which will eventually affect the economy. So Dr. Sharika commented on Millie's Coachella performance, noting that the artist used this popular culture to present a Thainess of which people may not be aware, and help to address misunderstandings about Thailand. If you remember, Kanachi also did probably shout out during her rap about how Thai people don't really ride elephants, anywhere. And that's actually a great point. So therefore, many people do think that what Millie did was to deploy soft power. And regarding the 7 pillars of this index, Millie may have helped increase the scores in culture and heritage with a specific impact through arts, entertainment, and food, as well as people and values, said the research fellow. And if the Thai government wants to elevate the soft power even further, conserving the country's heritage may not be enough, because the government should also create an ecosystem that supports the creative economy, which will, of course, play a huge role in creating a soft power, according to Dr. Sharika. Really interesting indeed, and well, looking in a way, we're not doing that bad being 35th, although probably we falling behind still, because we actually dropped 2 places over just a course of a year. So of course there's still many things, more room to be done, of course.
Well, there is a lot to be done in order to improve the awareness in terms of the soft power, because many of the experts actually believe that if we compare with South Korea, which has been very successful in spreading its soft power, like their strengths, they have a national strategy and they have budgets to support in terms of spreading the awareness, in terms of supporting the creative economy, arts, culture, entertainment. But looking back at Thailand, according to many of the experts, they felt that the government only praises when some artists or anyone spreads the soft power. And that is what is really lacking, the national agenda and the budget and the serious support from the government in terms of pushing this much more forward.
Definitely. Well, do share with us what you think in the comment section. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Thai PBS World Tonight. Do catch us like this every weekday at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook and YouTube Live.
And don't forget to follow us on social media, including our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates as well as analyses. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ